I'm so excited to be here with you. Since Monica joined TKP, like, I don't think you and I have done a podcast, just the two of us and a guest in a
I
while.
know. I know. I know we have like super fancy microphones now and I have my headphones on. Like we're just being professionals and stuff, but I know this is special.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad to see you. You look so pretty and on point. I'm just like, "Ooh, get it,
yeah.
girl."
I figured I can't
Mwah.
really invite my hairdresser to the podcast without like putting a few curls in my hair.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
does
That
it
would
much
be
better though.
like
Let me tell you,
yeah, you're
she's a
I
hair wizard.
yes, I do love your hair. Like I know I've told you that and I'm not just saying that. It's so pretty and I know I told you it reminds me of my sister. Like your texture and everything is just like super on point. I feel like you don't have to do a lot for it to look good. So,
I don't know.
perk
I
for
will
you.
say this, going like silvery gray blonde is way better in your 50s because I was getting it darkened and I would drive out of the parking lot of Lindsay's place and then like halfway home like a white stripe would start occurring down the part. I'm like, okay,
Gosh,
no more brown. I did my years looking like Laura Ingalls. I'm going blonde.
that's
I'm going
so
old lady
funny.
blonde.
I love that. I'm impressed because I'm still like unbelievably vain with my hair, like in terms of just letting that. And people say, "Oh, well, your hair's blonde, like you don't really see it," which I still see it. You know,
Yeah.
I still see it, and I'm like, I'm gonna just ride it out as long as possible. I would love to just like I have that powder where I can
Hmm.
put the color on my hair in between
Hmm.
but that can only go so far, you know?
Yeah.
And then I use like the dry shampoo and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
Well,
look
like
like a
I'm
nightmare.
short, and so like when I was using that powder, it would always end up like in my husband's armpit or something from leaning on it.
That is
That's like no
so
bueno.
funny. I know. I would see like the dark powder like on my forehead, like I've been
Yeah,
like
that's like
on the
sweating
stage or
down your
something.
face.
Totally,
Exactly.
totally. Like,
Exactly.
oh my
Well,
gosh.
I
How,
mean, we talked about this on another podcast, of kind of like the whole Justine Bateman, like aging gracefully thing. And
yes, yes.
I saw on my social media feed like Minnie Driver talking about her hair going gray and
Mm-hmm.
like just like all this aging gracefully stuff. So like what's your take on that? Like I mean, I know you said you're vain, which I sort of disagree with, but um
Aw.
is it like live and let live? Do you think we all should age gracefully or we should all like
Hell
try to
yes.
pretend?
Hell no. I love when women in those kinds of positions do just do whatever the heck they want
Right.
because it is so much work being a woman. It is
Yeah.
so much work and it is so expensive.
No
So
kidding.
anytime, I mean, anything you can cut back on that you are just at the zero fucks mode, then I say go for it
Yes.
because, I'm sure I will get to that. I gave up doing my nails over a year ago and it's been very freeing. I mean, I look at them, I'm like, gosh, it would look so much better if they were painted and manicured, but I'm like, I don't care. Like at the end of the day, would it like complete my outfit? Maybe. But am I going to go every 3 weeks and get this stuff on my nails? I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
So it's,
Well,
it's, it's a lot.
until about 47, like a few years ago, my skincare regime was ivory soap.
Now
It
that's a
was like ivory
discounted
soap and
version.
like Neutrogena moisturizing lotion with SPF. Like it was, you could
Yeah.
buy it at the drugstore. It was like $20 for 90 days. I have
Yes.
now passed over into this weird world of like a house payment worth of skincare. And I'm really not sure it's showing up. Like, I think I might rather have a lake house.
Okay. Good skincare or lake house. Pick your
Like, I
choice.
think I'm gonna go back to ivory soap and get a pontoon boat.
Maybe like when we turn 60 or something. It's the same. And I know we've talked about this. My big cost these days is my medical skincare. Like
Right.
I'm not you I've always used oil of Olay or
Yes. You have
Pond's,
like
okay?
lasers and aliens like shooting rays into your face.
I have like a brigade that comes out of these bottles that are just like, we're going to work on all of your sunspots and all of your wrinkles. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's just the amount of money. But then I think, you know what? If this is important to me right now, I'm doing it. I will hit a wall eventually. And once that
Right.
wall is hit, then I'm just going to just go off into the sunset with my wrinkles and such. So,
Like when you're living
um,
in a van down by the river
yeah,
because you have no
then nobody,
retirement.
then nobody will. Yeah, exactly.
You
But I'll have my
spend it
good
all on
skincare.
skincare.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
exactly.
this is like the perfect lead in to our guest today because
Oh, good.
today we have Lyndsay Heck. She is my
Yay.
hairdresser. She's a stylist. She's like a beauty person. She's a lot younger than us too. She probably doesn't have any skincare routine.
Yeah, I
And
can
she has a
tell.
baby, so like you don't even get to go to the bathroom by yourself for a few years.
No, correct.
So I just want to introduce Lyndsay. She is the owner or a co-owner, I believe, and founder of the Room Salon in Plymouth, Michigan, and I've known her for about 8 years now, I think, if you can even believe
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome, Lyndsay.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Also, I,
Aw.
I don't want to say I'm nervous, but I'm like, well, first podcast, like,
Yeah,
this is cool but crazy, so bear
yeah,
with me.
Aw. Well, welcome. We just pretend to know what we're doing most of the time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
So,
We're
you know what?
faking it out.
Just we are. And we love you. You mentioned that your son Walker is
Mhm.
taking a nap. So
Yes. Yep.
we have to work efficiently because I'm sure he could get up at any time. But
Hopefully
we
not, but you never know.
okay, I'm knocking on wood, but
Yeah,
Melissa and I
Same.
definitely remember those days.
Mhm.
Um, and Lindsay, that's actually when Melissa and I met when even before her son Miles was born and right
Oh,
when my
wow.
youngest son Cole was
Oh,
born. So we remember those days that you're in. They are long, they are
yes.
difficult, but there is hope and you will
yeah,
get there.
Yes.
You
yeah,
will get
Yep.
there.
yeah.
And when people say enjoy it, I'm like, that's such bullshit because you want to enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy it, but
Yep.
did I? I didn't. I really it was like did I have moments of enjoyment? Yes, when they were sleeping. Tremendous joy. Okay.
Oh,
But it was like a scary time because the goal was to keep them alive and well at all
Yeah.
times, you know?
right, right.
So when people are like, "Oh, enjoy it." I mean, I get it now because they are like older and stuff, but just savor it. How about
Yeah.
savor it?
Savor
Savor
it.
Yep.
it. How about that?
I don't know. Like, I can give a firsthand account, though. I think keeping your three boys alive was a little extra. I mean, it was just a little
Agreed.
more than like the rest of us. Like, we would go to like the moms group thing, and like Rocco would be gone. He was a runner. It was like, Amy, we lost Rocco.
Everybody
Uh,
spread out. We are putting out the
Find the
APB.
kid.
Yes,
E-
exactly.
And
Search party.
right, exactly. And Lindsay, I don't know if you noticed this, but when you take out your little one and you want to like wear something cute, maybe have a little makeup
Yeah.
on and your hair. And I would do that for those times I'd go out and I would just come home literally looking like I had been through a car wash because the amount of sweat and running and just worry was just like,
Yes.
wasn't even
I
worth
I
it.
attempt the cute trendy outfits and then I'm like leggings and like athletic wear is just it's just the safe easy bet. It's just
Yeah.
Exactly.
what we
Yeah.
do right now.
Yeah.
We need to
And
scale something at any moment.
Yep.
yeah.
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 Quick moves.
Yeah, exactly.
There's cute stuff too. I feel like there's
There
like really
is.
cute stuff for moms and stuff like that. So I'm curious, Lindsay,
Yeah.
tell us more about the room. I love that name. Is like
Yeah.
beauty something you always wanted to be in, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's called The Room Hair and Design and I co-own it with my actually best friend Ariel Colton. And my mom was a hairdresser well before my sister and I were born. And she actually sold her salon to one of her best friends when she found out she was pregnant with my sister, just to kind of took her some years to be able to have children. So she just wanted to be like fully into it. But I still was around the salon atmosphere with her friends, like I remember in my childhood mixing up color at a very young age just because that's what we did. That's what was fun.
Hmm.
But so always around the salon atmosphere, and literally in the sixth grade, we had like a career project, and I did it about being a cosmetologist. And ever since that, I went to cosmetology school in high school. I went to Dundee High School and we had a co-op our junior and senior year. So I did that. So I got to graduate a few months after high school, take my state boards, and from that moment on, I have been doing hair. So it
Wow.
it's just I don't remember a time where I didn't think about doing hair or didn't expect that to be my future or my career. So
Hmm.
kind of just like second nature almost with me,
That's really great.
which
I
yeah.
feel like not everybody knows what they want to do, or sometimes they know and they get talked out of it, or they,
Yeah.
it doesn't meet everyone else's expectation. But I just feel
Yep.
like since the moment I met you that you're just very clear about who you are and what you want to do and what you'll put up with and what you won't.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's not necessarily typical for young women. Like it takes some of us a long
Yeah.
time to have that kind of focus.
Yeah, I didn't really have like a plan B or even like thinking back even a second career or option I would rather do. So
Hmm.
I just remember when I first started actually working in a salon, like as an employee, I felt weird that I was getting paid for it. I was like, oh my God, people pay me to do this? This is like insane. And I feel like those like moments, I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to like love what you do. Like,
Right.
Hmm.
yes, of course, some days you don't want to go in, you'd rather go to the mall or go here or go anywhere. But like for the most part, I'm very lucky that I am happy and like actually very comfortable in the salon and what I do. So
Yeah.
it's always been there.
That's
Yep.
incredible. And you mentioned so your mom was a business owner. She had her
Hmm.
own salon. And then
Yep.
is your sister a stylist as well?
Nope. So, it was more of my mom and like her best friends.
Okay.
Um, my sister went to school and she did like graphic design for a while, so she's definitely creative, but not in like hair or anything. We
Okay, I
won't let her
thought you
touch
okay,
anyone's hair.
Yeah.
for good reason, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
She's the one that like took the scissors and cut her bangs
Yeah,
in
like
kindergarten.
we don't need that.
Okay, I got it. For some reason I thought you said your sister did was in the industry as well. So,
Nope,
I
just
can
my
kind of
mom.
relate to that sort of like losing time and being like, wow, I get paid to design things and pick out color
Yeah.
and like when you find that sort of zen of like I would just do this even if I wasn't getting paid, that's where you're
Yep.
supposed to be.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good feeling. It
Yeah.
is.
But then
It's
there's
really
also,
cool.
I mean, I can say because I'm an artist and designer and now I, run an agency, there's this business aspect. Like, how have you warmed up to like,
Yeah.
negotiating a lease and possibly
Yeah.
hiring and growth and marketing and all the other things that come on top the thing that you love to do?
So my I'll say like my real first job as a hairstylist. So backstory, I lived in California for a little bit, about 4 years,
Mhm.
and it was after I got my license, but um the license is by hours and I needed more in California, so I couldn't work as like a working stylist, so I assisted out there. And it was kind of like that typical like California movie where the stylists were mean and I swept hair and shampooed and I was like, what is this? Like, maybe I don't want to do this. This is awful. Like, not fun.
Yeah.
But then I found someone, Jennifer Holden, still love her to this day, and she like took me underneath their wing and like actually helped me become a stylist.
Right.
So I was just an assistant though. So then when I moved back to Michigan, just had my fun time in California. When I moved back to Michigan, I kind of got a little bit more serious. And I reached out to a friend that was a stylist, and he booth rented in a salon in Milan, Michigan.
Mhm.
And booth renting it's a mini business. You have to do everything yourself. You pay rent and everything else is like on you. So starting out that way as a stylist kind of just forced me to be more aware of like the business aspects of that. I
Hmm.
probably wasn't the best at it. Definitely didn't charge as I should just because
Right.
it's awkward at first. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do really. So that was a couple years of definitely like living and learning and a lot of mistakes and all that good stuff. And then I went to a commission salon where I build my clientele. That's where I met Melissa at. And then eventually I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this. And I can 100% say I can stand behind that chair 12, I could stand there 24 hours a day, do my thing. And then the business aspect comes in play, and I'm like, someone help. I don't know
Right.
what to do. Is this right? Is this illegal? Like, I don't know here.
I know.
Absolutely.
So that was definitely having like the whole business. Of course, I had a partner, so we definitely bounced. And she was a manager at a salon before, so there was like give and take. But that's where my parents came in. My parents have owned businesses since they were 19, more in the food, catering, and restaurants, but they were my big support on how do I run my books? Do I do a paycheck? Like, what do I do here? So
Right.
I was very lucky to have that. Because I can honestly say if I didn't have them to ask questions and guide me, there probably would have been a lot more mistakes and money and books and contracts and
Right.
all of that stuff where I still feel like I'm lost in, but we just take that day by day.
Well, I mean, I've been watching you. I followed you from the salon that you
Yeah.
mentioned, and you know, came to the opening weekend or something there in Plymouth.
Yep.
When you open the building, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. And
Thank you.
I have been a business person. I don't know, maybe twice as long as you or something, 12
Hmm.
years, and I'm still learning that stuff. And I think the main thing I've learned is like delegate. I don't have to be the
Hmm.
bookkeeper. I'm
I
the brand
know.
director.
Right.
Like find somebody else that does this better than I do. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
probably
Yep.
that's
I
so
agree.
true. And it can be hard, especially when you're starting out and you're cutting costs and
Yes.
don't want to have like extra expenses going out the window. It's really
Right.
important to be able to say, okay, can I really do this? But it seems like nowadays things can be easier in terms of selling and with social media and stuff like that. I feel like that's
Yeah.
like a really good way to advertise and sell, which isn't something that Melissa, I'm sure you didn't exactly do that when you were starting out as
I
social media and
didn't. But
stuff
my
like that.
hair is on Lindsay's Instagram is several different colors.
It
If
is.
you
It
Ooh, I
if
have
is.
you
to look
look
at that.
down, you can see it red, you can see it silver
Yep.
and blonde.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yep.
that.
She's a
Yeah.
good canvas.
Yeah. So you've had really important mentors, it sounds like, with both your parents being entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And it sounds like such a gift to really learn how not to do things from your parents.
Hmm.
They taught you. So I'm curious with as Melissa said, your business seems to be right sized for you for where you're at with your life. Um, did you and Ariel make this conscious decision to create this space because of the lifestyle that you two are in right now, or how did you come to that?
Yeah. I think what brought us to it is at the time when we first decided to open the salon, we were both just had boyfriends. But we're at that time in our career where it's like, are we gonna do our own thing or do we keep working commission? And commission's a sticky situation when it comes to money and bosses and whatnot in the hair industry, I feel. And we kind of were just like, okay, let's do this. Let's try to find our own place. And my dad actually found it on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, downtown Plymouth, this is too good to be true. And we looked at it. Actually, it'll be 4 years in May, and we're open that June, so we're almost on 4 years. But I think our initial reason why we did it was we saw how hard we were working and how much our owners were taking from us. And hey, if that's your path and you do commission, there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel once you are established as a stylist, that's when you should have freedom and you should be able to have your creative way you want to do things. So we both decided that, okay, let's open a place. When we first started, due to both like, we weren't single, but newly dating my husband and her fiance at the time, I think we worked, if not 7 days a week, probably 6, just because there was no one telling us that we couldn't work. So I truly think we worked so much that first year. Well, almost year, because our year mark was COVID happening, so that was a nice little business,
That's
first
a little
year.
detour for a new business owner.
Yeah. So that happened, but we made it through it, all was good. And then we got back in the salon. I think we were allowed back in June, I want to say. I'd have to look back. And we worked a good month, and that was like us trying to figure out how can we work now, like what are we allowed to do because of COVID rules and all that fun stuff. But still working crazy. And then I found out I was expecting, and it was a surprise baby, best thing ever. But it was like, oh my gosh, like I own a business. No one else, I run my own show. It's not like someone else can take my clients. So it
Right.
was this huge thing on like, okay, this is amazing, this is awesome, but this is a whole different viewpoint now.
Yep.
And of course, I loved what I was doing. I didn't want to stop. Luckily, my husband, my family, they're all super supportive. And it took me, Walker turned 2 in February. It probably took me a solid year, like his first year of life, to realize like, I don't have to work 5 days a week. I don't have to miss out on the baby stuff that I want to be there. And, your little kids are only little for so long. When they're in school, I'm sure I'll be behind that chair 6 days a week again, doing it full time. So that made me really figure out what was like right size for me. And obviously, some people might not think like that, and that's absolutely fine. They might have a daycare set up or anything like that. But I was one where I really wanted to be there with my babies and raise my babies without losing what I've created over the many, many years of doing it.
Yes.
So it was finding a sweet spot, and it took a while, obviously, but I feel like Melissa would even say maybe in the last like almost year, I have my days that I work, I have my hours that I work. I'm still flexible. I love my clients. I've had the same clients for a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, at this point in my life, I'll always choose my babies and my family right now.
Wait, you keep
So it
saying
was,
babies.
I know I keep saying that because I want more kids.
You want to tell
I know.
You want to tell us
I know,
something that
right?
we don't know about?
As of right now, no, just Walker, but I want more babies. So,
Right. Okay.
hopefully in the future, whenever that time is, that's in God's hands, whenever that is. But
I have to say, like as an outside observer,
yeah,
it seemed like you were really smart about scaling even before the baby or before the wedding
Yeah.
or before the house. Like
yep,
the room is like a very small little salon, and
Yep.
you and Ariel each have a chair. And I have worked with a couple beauty businesses, barbershop, a salon,
Mhm.
makeup artist. And there's this pressure. I mean, I think in all industries, but also maybe more so in that industry of like have a bunch of chairs and have a line
Yes.
of hair product and be a like
Yes.
TikTok star and like do all this stuff. And
Yeah.
that's even if you pull it off, it's incredibly hard to maintain. And then if you decide to
Mhm.
have a baby or a wedding or build a house or have any work-life balance, you've now committed to way more than you can keep.
Yes.
So I felt like this is something she could share. I mean, we have in the Kindling
Yeah.
Project community a lot of women who want to start a business, or maybe they have a
Mhm.
side thing like they make cupcakes, but they want to have a bakery. And I think this idea of right sizing it from the beginning, like you're just a good example of it.
Yeah.
I
Thank
don't know if
you.
it was conscious, but like I've been watching and I kind of compared
Yeah.
you to other clients and I'm like, this is wise because you can always grow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still young. You can grow
Yeah.
and grow. Like
Yeah.
you can have a
Yeah.
chain of salons or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right. Right. I think that's really intuitive also, Melissa, that you, Lyndsay, were around the industry from the beginning, and there
Hmm.
must have been some sort of foundation planted that maybe this is more of a marathon as opposed to a sprint.
Yeah, I like that.
Because a lot of times when we become moms, if that's our path, it's such a it's there's so much learning, and like you said, whatever God's plan is in that department of more kids, but you will have to stay fluid, because just when you think you've got things down, it
Hmm.
changes. The
Yeah.
baby's routine changes. They get
Yeah.
to school. I remember when they started school, I was like, oh my gosh, freedom. Now, did I have a little bit? Yes, but it was nearly nothing that I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be. I mean, parenthood is just a game changer all the way around. And it can be hard when a woman, who I think a lot of our listeners are overachievers, perfectionists,
Hmm.
want the best, making money, doing all these things, and to say, okay, this is what I'm going to prioritize right now.
Yeah.
And it takes some, getting up, skinning our knees, getting back up, and finding what really works best for us. And I do really support what you said about, being with him while he's growing up, because, there's really that time you don't get back at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And
So,
we're really lucky with mine and my husband's work schedule. My mom is with him one day a week, and the rest of the days he's with either I or my husband Nick. Um, but I was gonna bring it back to when Melissa was saying, like watching me over the years, like keep it right sized. I
hmm
think I have a different outlook than some stylists. Obviously, it's my like career and my job. It pays my bills. It's what I do to make a living. But I don't know if it's just like my character, my personality, but I would rather not open the door to new clients all the time, new clients, higher prices, all that stuff. Because I really do enjoy looking at my books and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I have Melissa. Like, yes, I get to have fun with her hair today and like love doing color and whatnot, but I've also known her for 8 years. It's like that friend I get to see every few months in the salon and I get to talk to. And if I open my books to new clients all the time and always bringing in that, I get really like sad and upset when my longtime supportive clients like ask for an appointment and I'm like, oh, I can't do that day. Oh, nope. How about a month from now? Because I feel like it's almost not fair because I limit my schedule to add more to it, if that makes sense in a
yeah, I
way.
like that.
It
Yeah.
does. It's
Um,
about building relationships. And
exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
And
And
we all want to
it's
have service providers in our life that like become like this extended family. Like I can always count on Lindsay, or I can always count on, I really
yeah.
love my dentist Aditi, and she's my friend, and we go to happy hour. But like I know
Yeah.
her, right? Like she's a
Right.
person in my life.
Yep. Yep.
So
So it's definitely helped. Sometimes I wish I can just like, screw
yeah,
it. I need to make more money. Like, who
yeah,
cares? But I don't work that way. And I know some stylists do, but I just would rather have really good clients that trust me. I know them. I know their hair, which is so awesome. I know it's like a cliche thing that says like stay with your stylist, but it's so easy when you know someone's hair. It's a big,
yeah.
big difference.
Yeah,
The
that makes
person that I had
sense.
like a photo shoot or something recently, and I think you were getting married. So I mean, good excuse.
You're like,
Uh,
sorry.
and like I went to someone else and they couldn't get my hair to curl. They were using a flat
Oh, I
iron
remember.
and they kept doing it and then it kept like laying flat. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Well, does your hair curl?" And I'm like, "Yes, it curls." Like is the flat iron plugged
Right.
Right, you're
It's
like, is this
naturally
working?
curly. It's naturally curly.
in?
And,
Right.
one of the things, Lindsay, that you were talking about, what I hear is that predictability right now, especially with your little family. It probably helps knowing what you're walking into every day.
Oh yeah.
You're already raising a toddler. That's a job in itself. So to know that you're going to have, for the most part, a predictable day, I could
Yep.
see where that would really be more calming, like in the background, as opposed to,
Yeah.
going working with your clients. And then, maybe the day will come where you up and get some maybe higher paying clients on certain services or
Hmm.
whatever. But that's the nice thing about your industry. You can always build on it.
Yes.
You're
Yep.
it's always buildable. So that's
You,
definitely a
I
nice
think
thing.
you and Ariel like have established a set of priorities that I can see where you'll hire yourselves. You'll grow your own kind of like if you add a
Yeah.
chair, you're gonna pick somebody with the same value system, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
We've only had one other employee there, and we ended up kind of ending that. And, I hate using the word fire, but,
It wasn't a good fit.
basic,
Yeah.
it wasn't. And, that's our thing. We do have two chairs available, and we, number one, want them to be great at hair, but we want nice people. We just want kind people, nice people. And it's hard to find out there. Like, it is
Yeah.
a struggle. I'm like, what is
Yes.
going on? So we're
Um,
just kind of we as much as we would love to have other stylists in there and the door is always open, we don't want to ruin what we have and
right.
take
Hmm.
away from. I feel like our clients can come in literally in their pajamas or dressed to the nine, eating Jimmy John's in the chair, and it's just a relaxed
Whatever. Right.
environment and
Yeah.
there's no like expectation or anything like that, which I like. It's just everyone's, oh, been here before, like
Yeah.
hanging out with their friends.
I
Like,
think we've all been to that salon where you feel like, oh, I didn't
oh,
dress up enough, or I have to sit up straight, or
yes,
like I gotta do my
yep,
makeup before I get my hair done.
It's
yes.
so
So,
yes, I know. I know. I'm curious, Lindsay, as a busy mom of a toddler and as a
Mhm.
business owner, what are some of your challenges? What are some of the day-to-day barriers that you experience as, wearing those hats? And I'm obviously you're a wife, a daughter,
Yeah.
I'm a partner, all these kinds of things.
Yeah, I think like the typical cliche answer, like separating like work and family life. Um Trying to find, I say I have a balance, but I don't think we really ever do fully have a balance, or
right.
maybe we do and I'm not there yet. But I think my number one thing that pops in my head is my husband works seconds. So he starts at 4 p.m. and doesn't
Hmm.
and leaves work at 2:30 a.m., which allows us to not have like to depend really on daycare babysitters. Um, but that's a struggle because some days when I am at work, I'd obviously like he's home with Walker and I'm like, oh, I wish like I had a better balance on like finding time with all three of us together. Um, his schedule days did recently change, so we do get weekends together now, which has been like life-changing. And if anything ever does change in the future with his schedule or mine, I think I've learned like you need that time as a family,
Mhm.
but also to stay relevant at work and education. And sometimes I don't want to leave my family on the weekend, but I need to stay relevant on education and classes and just because I'm a mom right now doesn't mean I don't want to be a better hairstylist in the future and all that. So really, it's just finding balance on not giving something 100, well, I guess giving everything 100% and not driving yourself crazy
Right.
doing
Right.
that.
I had this friend who described it to me one time about work-life balance, and she's like, "There's no work-life balance. There's just filling buckets." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, when there's a leak in the family roof, I have to put the bucket under that leak. When there's a leak in the business roof, I have to put the bucket under that." And
Yes.
she's like, "I'm just moving buckets around
Yeah.
wherever there's a
That's
leak."
perfect.
And I
I
was like,
love
that's
that.
kind of a good description of
Yeah.
work-life balance. Because
I
sometimes
love that.
work-life balance is like, it just feels like another like crappy thing they tell us moms. Like, you can have it
Yeah.
all,
Right,
Yep.
right. And
Yep.
and
and like
yeah,
go on a date with your husband. And I'm like,
When?
no, you really actually need to clean up the dog poop off the patio. And it's not a date exactly.
right,
Right.
right. Yeah, I think that's one of the myths really that society tells women. And I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but
Yeah.
to have it all, I mean, I think as women, we have to define what all really looks like. Because I don't think, you can give all to your your family, you can give all to your business or your work, but all to yourself is usually
Yeah.
not what happens. You're
Yeah.
giving your all, but then that bucket is your bucket is kicked over in the backyard, and
Yeah.
so my whole thing about having it all, it's a myth. It's fake news. And I don't think
Yeah.
it's something that okay, here's a little insight from some other some women who have been around the sun a few more times than you, Lyndsay. It's okay not to have it all. All is what fills up your bucket or up your cup. Oftentimes I talk about how we actually are showing up. How do we show up for ourselves or
Mhm.
for our kids or our husbands, coworkers, whatever. But we have to show up for ourselves first. And that is so hard to do. I'm talking to a mom with a toddler. I get that. But man, if you can learn how to do that early
Yeah.
on, you are going to have more more sustainability in your industry and as a wife, as a mother, because you will find yourself holding these bags and they're yours and they're empty where everybody else
Mhm.
is like skipping free and doing great things. So just
Yep.
remember that it's you define what your all is.
Yeah.
um you know so there's my little
I love
Amyism
it.
for the
There you
day.
go.
I
This is
love
our
it.
resident therapist, so giving us
Yeah,
I needed that. Thank you.
some good
it's so
wisdom once in a
true.
while.
Yeah, it's so true.
So, okay, I want to go back to staying relevant. Like, we want the fun tips. Tell us, like, what's new in hair, new in
Ooh.
beauty,
Oh yeah.
So it was
grooming.
so funny when you guys were talking about skincare. I think it's I think it's just this time with skincare. Like I feel like even 12-year-olds have like an intense skincare.
Oh,
So,
they
Oh
do.
gosh.
but when you were talking about that, I was just like, I think it's not like that we're getting older, like, oh, skincare. I just think it's such like a thing right now. So I just
Right.
had
Got
to put
it.
that out there because
Okay.
I have
That's
young clients
good.
in my chair and I'm like, oh my gosh, you do that?
Right.
Like Botox starting at like 20 and I'm like, "Oh,
That's
what?
so
Like,
silly.
okay. I know. I'm like,
Come
not
on.
for me, but but
Yeah.
hair, man, I always see all the fun trendy stuff. Okay, we have to bring it up. Mullets. What do we think
Yeah.
about mullets? They're
Oh,
Well,
back. They're fully
yeah.
yes.
back.
Oh, I can't wait. Miles is going to want a mullet. I
Oh,
guarantee you, Miles.
our intern, Maria Elena at Memora, and she works with
Yeah.
Pete. She's got a mullet, and it's like
Oh,
it's this total like '80s mullet where it's like shaved under here and
yes,
Yeah. It's like
short
Pat
it
and in the
is.
Benatar.
back, and
Like, it's a thing.
it's a thing.
Like,
Yeah.
boys and girls are doing it. I
Yep.
remember the last time you were in, we were talking about like Elise and her haircuts, and it's like they can just do like all these cute choppy styles, and it's
Yes.
just so cute on them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but I would say, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have, Melissa mentioned 3 boys, and 2 of them have mullets.
Yep.
Well, one has had mullet. He'll probably get another one, but my oldest son, Rocco, has one. I mean, they love it.
Yeah.
They think that is just the cat's meow.
I
What are you
secretly
gonna do?
dig it. I dig it. I like them. Obviously, like some do mullets and they're like out of this world, but there's a way to have it and it's
Right.
good. It looks good. But
It's
on
bold.
the
It's bold.
yes,
Yeah.
on the women's side, I still feel like color wise, everyone just loves, and which is my favorite, that lived in like balayage look still, which is my
Oh, I love that
all-time
too.
favorite to do.
Yeah.
I
Really?
think, yeah, even like how Melissa was saying, she's like working with her like grays and her silvers and going more blonde. I think a lot more, even like my clients and just friends' clients and just in the industry, everyone's trying to, not everyone, most people are trying to work with what is happening on their head.
Yeah.
And I think trends are one kind of a thing, and also going into a salon 8 years ago, 6 years ago, even, there's all the techniques are so different. So much like there's like time consuming. There's so many more extra steps now in all these colors. So you do see prices going up, but you're now in the salon instead of an hour and a half, kind of realistically almost 3 hours, some even more. So you pay for that higher price, but it lasts you such a longer time. You're not going back in 6 weeks, you're going back in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lived in look has just been around for a few years now, and I truly don't see it
Going away.
ever going away. I think it is here to stay. I mean, obviously I have my clients that do every 6 weeks, but I would say the majority is really kind of in that enhancing what they have or kind of keep it more natural, but adding a few things here and there with color. So
It's so
That's
it's
much
nice.
less maintenance, right? Like now
Yeah.
that I have some of my regular color blended in with my blonde, like when it
Yeah.
starts growing out, there's not a stripe. I mean,
Yep.
you can see it, but
Yep.
it's like it feels more natural. And like when I was
Yes.
had a whole head of like caramel colored hair that nature didn't give me. So then when it
You're
started
like,
growing out, it was like, oh, brown hair, and then I had a caramel hair.
yep.
So not that
Yeah.
there's a place and time for everything. I mean, go
Absolutely.
for it, girl. Like if you want
Yep.
purple hair, I'm all for it. But
Yep.
I am going a
Absolutely.
little more natural these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that too in terms of like people just going with what they have. When I hear that, I hear people accepting what they have and just
Hmm.
going with it and just being okay with it.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is though, for a lot of us Gen X women, even if we come back, because I do this, I set my appointments now at least 6 to 8 months out. But the issue is just when the gray starts to come in,
Yeah.
even though I don't need the highlights and stuff like that, it's just getting that gray coverage.
Yeah.
So, do you have any suggestions or tips for us ladies out there? What
Like,
secret can you tell us?
like to not notice it as soon or
I don't know. Just wear a hat. I mean, that's
yeah,
the
I
only
know.
thing about having to go back into the salon. It's just
Yes,
for like a,
agreed.
that's
Yep. And
kind of it.
I think it comes to just like if that's what you want, that's great. Like, if you want that color, you don't want to see that gray, you don't want to see that root, like just know you're that anywhere between realistically like 4 to 8 week client, which there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. Like if you like my mom, she is 58, hairstylist ever since she was in her early 20s. I color that girl's hair 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, I'm putting color in her roots because
No. Yep. My
she's
mom
like, I'm
too.
not doing it. I'm not. She's like, your client's hair is beautiful. I'm glad she has that, but I'm not the one. So I think whatever makes you happy,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
My
I
you
mom's
know?
love
50,
that
but
you should.
she's got red hair, like dyed red hair.
Oh, yeah.
And she's in her 70s, and that just has to be done every 3 weeks.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, Lindsay, I'm curious since we're talking about trends, what about is there a certain product that you really like or ones that you recommend?
So there are, gosh, trillions and billions of products out there.
True.
And, and it's so hard because everyone, like what works for me wouldn't work for Melissa and what works for Melissa, things like that.
True.
But my like ride or die product line for the last, gosh, probably like 7 years. It's called J Beverly Hills. It's my color line, but
Okay.
and they have a product line as well. And Melissa can swear by this. They have a conditioner called Mask. If your hair is dry, if it's brittle, if it's the dead of winter and it's staticky, this is the holy grail of moisture
Mm.
conditioners. It is the one product on my shelf that I can give to anybody, and I know they're not going to be like, oh, it didn't really work, because it is hands
It
down.
I
works.
like went
Oh,
from
it
buying
works.
the little bottle to buying the salon
Like the
bottle.
leaders.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I mean, this is not a commercial for is it J Beverly Hills?
J Beverly Hills, yep.
Well, yeah, but I also like have really dry scalp. Like I would use like
Yeah,
those really stinky dandruff shampoos and go to the dermatologist.
yep,
And like I would use it even if it was bad for my hair because it fixed my scalp.
yep.
I
No,
don't know what's going
it's
on
great.
there, like
Wow.
the oils or whatever, but that is a good
But
product.
other than like that specific like product, if just one that's like important for everyone and not even a specific brand is a heat protector. Heat's like the
Mm.
number one damage to anyone's hair. Um, Obviously, if you're bleaching your hair every 2 weeks, that's gonna fry it off. But you're
Hmm.
realistically like if you're straightening, curling, blow drying your hair every day, every other, it's the heat protectants going to be your best friend.
That's good
Stop
to
that
know.
damage and split ends.
And so speaking of the heat, I think I've talked to you about
Hmm.
this a bunch of time. What about all these products? Like it used to be that you had a hair dryer for like 28 years. And now
Yeah.
there's like you're buying like these new tools and like they're not $20, they're $800. Well, I don't have money.
I
Taking out a
know.
I
loan,
have
taking
friends
out a
I
that have
loan to
like
buy
know.
a dryer.
Dyson hair dryers that like okay, what's your scoop on those?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am one that has a Dyson hairdryer. But
You
I felt like with
Ooh,
my career,
I
I could
want
like get
one.
away with buying it.
yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Is that for clients or is that at home?
so it's at home. I have like the Dyson blow dryer at the salon,
Dyson
and I
blow
bought
dryer.
it
I'm gonna write
right.
that down.
Yeah, just the blow dryer. The one that styles your hair is called the Air Wrap. So the Dyson blow dryer is at the salon, and I actually got it as soon as we opened the salon. And it's funny that we're talking about this because one of my clients brought in
I'm
one of my
writing it down.
clients
Sorry.
brought in their Shark just came out with a blow dryer, like the other
Mm.
vacuum
Air wrap,
people.
like
Right, right.
is it like the
Yeah.
knockoff of the air wrap?
Yes, it's so crazy too because I could be wrong, but I think it's like $300, like maybe
Less
even
than
a
half.
little cheaper. And Dyson is like I think like 700 for the Air Wrap or something. All
Wow.
right, she brought it in on Monday. I used it. It does not compare to the Dyson. Does not at
Okay.
all. It's so loud. It's heavy. I was really excited because she's like, I love it. And she's never used the Dyson. And I was like, I don't want to pop your bubble, but the Dyson is for
It's worth it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I can't believe it's that expensive, but
I
It's
don't
worth
it's
know
every
really
what
great.
penny.
It's really great.
I don't know what kind of
What?
magic it's doing, but the women
I
I know
know.
who have it, their hair is so smooth, like no fuzzies.
Yeah.
Like, well, how
I
Right.
will
Well,
say
are you
it's,
pulling that off?
yeah. They
yeah.
literally have an attachment that's like a flyaway attachment. So you put it on top of your head and like it looks like a weird like upside down C and it like whips like your baby hairs like straight down.
Wow.
It's
You know,
they
we
have
talked
magic.
about this with Deepa when she was when she was our guest. Remember she had the
She has
Dyson
one,
and
yeah, her sister,
I'm
yeah.
curious if because I wash my hair maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
So is it still worth it to get the Dyson?
So like I will refresh my hair even when it's dry with like the Dyson. Instead of like getting my curling iron out, I'll just like grab
Okay.
chunks of it because it's heat. So, that blowing of the heat will do the same thing like as a curling iron does. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Well,
I use it
that's
on
more
dry hair a
reason to
lot.
get one. We're gonna just have to do it,
Hire me,
Melissa.
Dyson.
There you
Amy and
go.
I are neighbors. Maybe we can get like a joint custody Dyson.
Ooh, there you
Split
go.
it.
There you
We'll
go.
have each other's
We'll
like
split
hair
it.
drying schedule. Like I get it on
I
Right.
love it.
Yeah.
Wednesdays.
I feel like it's similar to the skincare. Hair products are similar. If you buy though the larger ones, especially because I only wash my hair a few times a week, I can keep like I have product for a long time.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love my hair product. My stylist turned me on. It's called In Common. Have you heard of
Oh,
In Common?
yes. Yes. I've never used it, but yes, I have heard it.
Yeah, it's like of course it's an LA based. It's a super
Hmm.
fancy blah blah blah. But I love it. I really do. There's only one weird thing about it is that I think what's his name? Scott Disick, the former Kardashian husband. I think
Yeah.
he's like an owner in it and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
But
Like,
I'm like, oh, whatever. But
that's funny.
I know. I'm like, no
You're like,
wonder
why are
because
you involved?
I know, like, who invited you in here? Although he does seem to have nice hair. But I'm like, darn it. Like, I mean, the packaging alone is probably why it's expensive, but the
Yeah.
shampoo is like a foam. It's almost like a
Oh,
mousse. So
okay.
I don't know. It's just like so
Yeah.
great.
I'll
I
look
love
into
it.
it. I love new products. I'm a
Yeah.
product junkie, so
And
I'm
they
good on that.
they have like good sales and stuff too. They have
Okay.
like once a year, they have like 50% off and stuff like that. So that's when I
Cool.
go in for the kill. Oh, thank you for all those reviews. Gosh, these are good
Right?
things to know. We love to be in the know.
Yeah. I
So
like to pretend like I know
Melissa,
some stuff.
oh,
You
we
do.
know. So,
Yeah.
just a few final questions, Lindsay.
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self, knowing what you know now?
Oh, what would I say? Um, I think I would, if I had to go back and tell her to do it. It's all gonna work out. The long hours, the not so great bosses, the shitty schedules, it'll all just stay focused on what you love, and it's all gonna be good.
Oh, I love
Yep.
that. That's
Yeah,
awesome. So
things have
just
a
do
way
it,
of
right?
working out.
Just
Yep,
do it.
just do it. Just do
Yep.
it. It works out. Yep. Everything was worth it, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Melissa, were you going to say something?
No, I think that's kind of we're moving towards the wrap up. Another thing that we like to do at the end of the podcast is everyone gives a shout out to someone or something that has been meaningful
Ooh.
to them. So I don't know. Do you want to go first, Lindsay? Do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. Um, since we were talking about like the business and life, I guess my shout outs would be to probably to my husband because he makes sure that I'm still happy in what I'm doing and has never once asked me to like, well, you're a mom now. You sure you want to run a business? He has always been super, super supportive of me, and he juggles his schedule so I can keep what I've built, and he's just super supportive in that way. And I always have to shout out my mom because she's right behind him doing the same thing. So,
Of course.
yep.
That's awesome. You're really
Absolutely.
She's like, if he won't do it, I will. So,
You're really lucky
Love
to have
that.
a supportive family. I know not everybody has that.
yeah,
But it's a crazy
yeah,
gift. Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I know how special it is. I do.
Yeah, makes a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
My shout out this week is going to be to my twin brother because my twin brother has my youngest son, Cole, with him in Austin this week for his spring break. And he is taking really good care of him. Cole, who I can't even really get out of the house, hopped on a plane and is going to be working at this GP Moto motorcycle event that my brother works at every year. And Cole is just beside himself having the time of his life. So I'm very grateful that my brother is hopefully all of the good things, teaching him more about safety, motorcycle safety, and gun safety. Oh God, help
Yeah.
me. So yeah, all the things
Moving
that
to Texas, Amy.
I know. Oh my gosh. So yep, the shout out is going to my twin brother, Timothy. So Melissa,
Aw.
what about you?
I think my shout out this week is to my daughter Elise. I don't know if I've given her a shout out
Mm,
before, but last night we just had the sweetest conversation. She's about to graduate from high school, as you guys know, and she's decided to go to Grand Valley State University. And like, I think that these she's just having this major mind shift. Like she showed up as like this little adult in the family room last night, and she was just, I'm gonna be moving out of your house soon, and I want to talk to you as
Aw.
much as possible before I go. It's just like my
oh
heart was
gosh.
breaking. But I could just see us like not changing roles, but we're
Yeah.
evolving. Like
It's
she is
shifting.
gonna move out of my house, and she's aware
Yeah.
of it now. And she's like, I just want to thank you for being, a good mom and being there.
Oh,
And I just like, oh, we just live for that moment, right? So shout out
I
to
love
Yes,
your
those.
kids.
definitely.
Oh,
Love them.
Aren't they the best?
thank
They
you.
are.
Yeah.
I feel like I could go on and on about Miles, 'cause- but I love
Everybody
Elise
could
too.
go
I
on
love when
and
they
on
come
about
in. I know.
Yeah. So
He's taught me more.
We
my
can
But
talk
prediction
about
is
that's
it.
so nice.
Miles.
We can talk about it at my next hair appointment, but Miles went on spring break.
Yes. Oh
And he
gosh.
went to a week on the beach, and he got 23 snaps from girls. And it was like him
I
and
Oh
love
my
his
it.
gosh.
14-year-old, like him and his 14-year-old buddy, but then like the two 17-year-old brothers, like the buddies.
Oh gosh.
And like the 17-year-olds are like, dude, man, Miles. Like we had to take Miles out
Scott
every
Gay.
night.
Miles is totally a legend. Well, my
He's
I
like a
love it.
prediction,
wingman for the 17-year-olds.
that's awesome. My prediction with Miles is he will be coming into the salon to the room, and he's gonna want a mullet. This is my prediction. I could be
We'll
wrong,
see. I
but
feel like he wasn't not
we'll
that long
see.
ago, right? Couple weeks or
Yeah. Well, he
but
goes to
Eventually.
Ariel.
Yep.
He goes to Ariel.
Yep,
Ariel's
he
the
goes he's
barber.
yep, the barber. Yep.
And he's got like the whole, I don't know if your boys are a little older, but all the high schoolers and middle schoolers now, like a lot of the
The
boys have this
long.
like kind of
Oh,
big,
the
like
flow.
Yes.
That's
tall,
right. Oh,
Yes.
that's
fluffy
so
bang.
annoying.
What is that called,
Yep.
Lindsay?
That it's like the
I
flow,
I don't even
whatever.
know. It's
Yeah.
some is out of control, like a bush, but Miles is
It's
at
like
least
hair in
kept.
your eyes. It's the hair in your eyes look
Yeah.
because my
Basically,
high
your
schooler has
hair
it.
is doing this. Like it's just like
Yes.
you have a little bush
Yes,
coming up in
it's
front of your head,
Uh,
and they
yeah.
all like
Too funny.
literally, they're like when they're in the back of the car after basketball practice, they're comparing salt sprays.
Oh
Like,
my
what
gosh.
salt spray do you use?
What do you use?
That's awesome. That's so great.
And then they
Well,
take your
Lindsay,
dirty,
we're
I
stinky,
love it.
sweaty hair and they spray some salt in it.
oh, you're
I
just
don't
like
know.
sticking your head out the window like, oh. Well, Lindsay, I just want to say you have truly been an inspiration and you
Aw.
are a fire starter. That is for sure. We're so grateful that you're part of our Kindling Project community and the success that you've had at a young age is definitely going to be inspiring for our audience and hopefully a little bit of kindling for those women who are putting it off when their kids get older or out of school. And it might not be perfect or all at once, but there's definitely no time like now. So we want to
Yeah.
just say a huge thank you for your time. Go put your feet up, even if Walker, the dishes, the laundry, everything will still be there. Give yourself permission to put your feet up until he wakes up. There you go.
Yes. Thank you. It was so fun talking to you ladies. I love this.
Aw, thank you
Oh,
so much.
thanks,
You have a
my
great
friend.
afternoon.
Soon.
Yes, you too. Yes, see you
Okay.
soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.